Hello everybody, welcome back to Board Game Nation for a review of Russian Railways. So, Russian Railways, I've done how to play and also a run-through. I was kind of all scattered brain for the run-through. Hopefully it was okay, but you got a feel of the game. It's a worker placement game with, you know, lots of interesting things and tracks that you kind of move up. And the really neat cool thing about it is as you move up on those tracks, there's certain sections on that tracks which will have special powers, which will allow you to do special things, which will allow you to kind of continue building your point generation kind of engine. And there's a lot of points involved. It's a very unique worker placement game. There's a lot of workers, and everybody's kind of bidding for some really good, you know, worker placement sections. The theme of the game, everybody says that there's no theme. I see a theme. Like when you're building your tracks and there's engineers and I've played a lot worse games that don't have theme. I've even played kind of American style games with, in my opinion, less theme than Russian Railways. So yeah, you're kind of stretching, but I see it. You're going out building track. I even see the, you know, how the markers move along, like the black track. You're just building your track, and then you're upgrading, and you're putting stations. Then you're putting washrooms, and then you're putting granite tile down, right? So I see that as well. I really like the bonuses and the special actions that you can get, but they're hard to get. Like, I mean, it's not like, oh, I get this and this and this. It's not like a festival of special actions. They're a little bit harder to get than usual. The artwork, I really enjoy this artwork. This artwork is clean. It's nice. It's really well. You know, it explains itself really well. I know what each, action does, which is important. Mechanism, well, it's a worker placement game. Like I said, I like some of the things. There's certain things that I don't like. I mean, worker placement is all about having a lot of worker placement sections that people want to go to. And there's hard choices, but, you know, on what to go. There is obvious choices in this game. You get the money, or you get the engineer, and then you go on your separate way and do your own thing. And sometimes on a 4-player game, yeah, you're going to get knocked out of options, but it's like, I mean, it's a fairly basic worker placement game where if you don't get the action, there's not kind of anything that you can do. I mean, in Lords of Waterdeep, you've got those intrigue cards. There is a whole other game kind of living in those intrigue cards that you can manipulate to, you know, change things when you aren't getting what you need for worker placement. This is just worker placement. You don't get a train this round because 2 people or 3 people went and got the trains before you, because you're out. You can't do what you want to do. You're done. Like, there's no other way. It's not like you can trade in stock, or you can do this, or you can go down a track to get a train. Like, there's none of that in this game. If you don't get the worker placement spot that you need, you're not going anywhere. And that is a big downfall for worker placement games. And, you know, that's okay, because there's a lot of ways to mitigate that. There's a lot of ways to change it. And there are lots of worker placement games, tons of worker placement games that have other options, that you're not stuck if you don't get your worker placement. And but you can go this way. You can have a worker placement game where you're kind of stuck if you don't get what you want, and that's not a good design, right? That's saying that, yeah, somebody kind of screwed you and ha ha ha. I don't know if that's a great game in my opinion. I think that's kind of just frustration. I like one of those games where you know, you can get out of that situation. You can say, oh, somebody took that. It's not as easy, but if I do this and this and this, oh, let me scratch my head. Oh, now, yes, I can do it, the same thing. I just need to do it a different way and a little bit of a more clever way, or change my strategy. But it's kind of, you can't do that in this game, right? Because once you're on a strategy, you're on a strategy. I mean, if you looked at my run through, you can see that I went on the big track for the blue player, and the red player was doing the factories. And once you're, you know, halfway into the factories, you gotta push it, right? Like, you're gonna make points. That's, you know, that's what you've done. Diversifying in this game, I find, is a way to lose. I've never seen somebody that's diversified well and won. Now, that's just, you know, I've just never seen it. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not playing with the right players, but it's difficult. And also, if there's a bunch of people going for the same route for victory, all those players are going to lose, and the one player that goes for the other strategy is going to win. So, you know, I mean, and this all comes down to the fact that it's a worker placement game, and if you get knocked out of what you want to do, there's nothing really you can do. Because there is definitely, in this game, there is definitely strategies. And the biggest strategy that I have to say, and I showed it in my run-through, is the player that gets the doubling bonuses and gets their biggest white, like, marble track out and starts moving it along for 7 points or 14 points for every spot, they're typically going to win. I usually, unless there are 2 or 3 people bidding for that strategy as well, that person's going to win. So I kind of think of it as more of a race. Like, everybody kind of knows that's the strategy, everybody's trying to get to it. And really, there's other games that I like better that do the same thing. I enjoy Russian Railways and playing Russian Railways, and, you know, doing those hard choice and getting knocked out, you know, of the spots I want. But because there's no other way to do those actions if you get knocked out, and because there is such a massive point spread as the game goes on, and there is also definitely a key strategy or two to go for, this kind of loses its, you know, its excitement. It's a great game to get a bunch of people around the table, new players, and kind of learn what a worker placement game is that seems complicated. But really, it's just dead simple, and there's really little strategy outside of getting the best spot for what you need, and there's no way out of the hole that you've dug yourself if somebody put you there, if you put you in that hole yourself. So I like the game. I enjoy playing it. But every time I finish playing it, I have this sense of dissatisfaction, like, that was a little easy. I whipped everybody. Or, well, of course I didn't win because, you know, I could never move up my marker because of that one spot. I don't feel like I was clever, you know. It wasn't like in Stefan Fair, like, oh my god, when I did that and I saw this opportunity, but that, you know, nobody else did because, you know, it was just the way I saw the board. That does not happen in this game, in my opinion. I'm sure some of you will think I'm wrong, but that's okay. So, things you liked. Well, I've talked about things I've liked, things I don't like. Well, I've certainly talked about things I don't like. The rating. I think I've got this one at a 6 or a 7. It's a good Euro. Lots of interesting stuff, lots of points. It's fun to you know, get all those points. It's lots of fun to move up on those tracks and get those bonus you know, turns or actions. But at the end of the game, it's a very, very simple worker placement game with some obvious worker placement spots that you have to take to win the game, which takes away from worker placement, and no mitigation for those worker placement actions. So, I would say that, you know, if somebody's got it, that you like it, play it, see if you like it, and then if you want it, grab it. But it hardly comes out now with me, and it's definitely not one of my more favored games in my collection. If somebody asks for it, I'll bring it out, I'll have fun. But until I can find somebody that tells me that there's a different strategy in the game, you know, I'm not going to be playing it all that often. So there you go. Now there is an expansion coming out for Russian Railways, which is kind of interesting, and I'm interested to see if they're bringing any other elements into the game. Are they going to change things up? Are they going to, you know, take away from that, you know, just worker placement game and bring in some mitigation? That would be interesting to see, but we won't probably see it for a couple more months still. Anyways, thank you very much. I think that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. If you, you know, want to watch any of my other videos, they're all there. And thank you very much. Have a good night.